Hi, welcome to the larder in our 1840 farmhouse. We grow a lot of food on the farm, and today I'm going to show you all the ways we preserve it. Where I'm standing now is our larder, which is basically the basement level of our old farmhouse. Now we have another level 6 steps down below this. We are fortunate enough to have a root cellar. So in our amazing root cellar, which I'm thrilled we have, I keep root vegetables, just like it sounds, a root cellar. I do keep all of our white potatoes down here, and they've been down here for a couple weeks. And I usually keep beets and carrots in buckets of wet sand, but I didn't get carrots and beets late in the summer this year because the rabbits kept eating them. So the root cellar's a little bit sparse this year. Now the other thing I keep down here are my winter squash, butternut squash, spaghetti squash, and I actually need Donnie to carry the rest of those down. But then that'll be all that's going to be in here for this winter.
Just a few points of interest for those of you who are interested in root cellars, but this is with the 1840 part of the farmhouse, and it is about 7 feet the top of the ceiling below ground. It's built with limestone and lime mortar. The top is a beautiful arch with brickwork, and then the stonework and the mortar is on the walls. Now, we restored this a few years ago, and we did lime wash over all of the brick and all the stone, which is what they would have done originally. In fact, we could see some of the old lime that was on this brickwork, but it had been many years since the stone and brick had been covered. So we just simply added some rough cut pine, and we lime washed it as well. So the lime wash on the shelves helps keep them clean and also prevents any mold growth. So the temperature down here is ideally in the 40s. We have to work a little bit. We added a ventilation system which keeps the radon out, and at nighttime we have it run when it's cold, so it pumps down some of the 30 and 40 degree air. And once it gets cold later in January, it pretty much stays cold until March.
So we're back up in the larder now. And this is a place where I do keep certain vegetables just as they were, like onions. And in about a week, sweet potatoes are going to be coming up here. I don't know if you saw the last video, we had a big sweet potato harvest. They're curing right now, but they will be kept in these boxes in this room. But between the onions and sweet potatoes, that's also where I keep a lot of my canned goods. And I think this is probably the biggest percentage of our food I can. Anywhere from potatoes to all the tomato products, pickles. This is all applesauce. We had a lot of apples this year. So we have a lot of applesauce, apple cider, strawberry lemonade. I mean, we have all kinds of food. So I love this room. I mean, it's cool because it's 1840 and it looks old, but it's also food security. It's just, I love this room.
So temperature, this room is going to be in the 50s, and the humidity will be in the 50s as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not quite as cold or as humid as the root cellar. But it's perfect for storing things like this and for the canned goods. And I keep the lights off so it stays dark down here. Now there's 2 other shelves with canned goods. Let me show you them quick. And this shelf is mostly prepared meals, things like the soups, beef stews, beef stroganoff, all my broths, just all kinds of stuff. And the buckets down here are actually full of wheat berries for grinding to make our own flour to make bread. So they're wonderful food grade sealed buckets. They keep the wheat berries really, really good. And then there's one more shelf of canned goods that's a really fun shelf. This shelf is all the jams, jellies, syrups, preserves. I love this shelf. But I really love making jam. And I do sell it at the farm stand, but our whole family eats a lot of it too. So every kind you can possibly imagine. And most of them are from fruit from our orchard. Now this cabinet contains a lot of our freeze-dried food. And there are a lot of things I like freeze-dried. In here right now I have a lot of peppers because we had a bounty of peppers plants last year, and I actually have peppers left from last year, but they're fine. They're freeze-dried, so they last for a long time. But I also have things like green beans, asparagus, broccoli, garlic scapes, freeze-dried apples and strawberries, wonderful snacks for the grandkids. And I also freeze-dried a bunch of eggs. The one, I guess last winter we had a bunch of eggs. And I went ahead and scrambled them up and freeze-dried them. So we can use them in recipes or just reconstitute them and put them, make scrambled eggs. So it's just good to have those on hand. And I still have quite a few freeze-dried elderberries. I did use some of those in my elderberry video, but I still have more left. So I'll have to see what I want to do with them. But I do love the freeze-dried stuff. Now, a lot of the freeze-dried herbs I keep upstairs just because I get them quite often.
So a question for you.
Yeah.
So freeze drying is a relatively new technology.
Yes.
I'm just curious why you have all those containers in an antique cabinet.
Because I like antiques. It looks prettier. The same reason I keep all the store-bought stuff in a nice pretty cabinet. I don't want to see store-bought stuff.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, the first year we were down here and did a video down here, it was almost all bought stuff with a few canned goods. And I said, I hope someday it's mostly canned. And it just gives me a thrill that it is that way now. But there's still certain things I still buy. All the noodles, crushed tomatoes. There's still a lot of stuff I do buy in the store. Now these are a lot of the herbs I have, and I preserve all the herbs I can. I have basil, oregano, cilantro, a lot of cilantro because I like that, chives, parsley, chive flowers, anything you could possibly imagine. And I love dried herbs when they're freeze-dried. They taste almost like fresh, and they keep the scent, they keep everything. Sometimes just drying them, air drying them or dehydrating them, they actually lose some of that. But freeze-drying, they are just like fresh. So these are our freeze dryers, and we do have two. These are used by our entire family, and a lot of times when there's a lot of produce coming in, they can both be running, and especially when herbs are coming in. We do all kinds of things, even like my daughter-in-law does baby food in little blops, and the baby can just pick it up and feed herself, Olive. So you can use it for all kinds of things. And the ones we have are harvest rate. They are not cheap, but they are probably the best game in town. Now, the catch is if something breaks, they will sometimes work through you on the phone and do software and stuff, but if it's something hardware, components, we had one break and we had to send it back. Luckily it was under warranty. They sent the box, they sent everything we needed to send it back, and they actually sent us a refurbished one, which is this one. And that was probably 1.5 years ago, 2 years maybe. And this is the one that's not working right now. So I'm gonna be on the phone with Harvest Rate soon to try to figure out how to get this fixed. But this one is still working and it's been used heavily. And I'm happy. I mean, when they're working, they're wonderful. When they break, it's a bit of a hassle.
In fairness, it's a very complex piece of equipment.
Yes, it is.
With freezers and compressors and heat. There's so many things that could go wrong.
Yeah. And I mean, it's amazing they don't break more often, but we've had really good luck. overall for freeze dryers. I've heard some real nightmare stories. We've had pretty good luck, but we do have to work on this one soon. We also have 4 chest freezers, and one of those is primarily for fruits and vegetables. One is for meat, mostly meat, and then we have kind of like an overflow one. It has some overflow meat as well as tomatoes. When I'm freezing tomatoes all summer long to can later, they go in that freezer. So it's kind of like an overflow of hodgepodge stuff. And there's one in the grow room that is a lot of prepared food as well as some frozen cheeses. So let's look at the fruit and veggie one. Now this is a lot emptier than it was yesterday. I had about 10 bags of blackberries, and I am now in the process of turning those into blackberry lime jam and blackberry orange jam. And I also have strawberries and cranberries in here, which I hope to turn into Christmas jam. But there's a lot of beets, there's a lot of potatoes, there's pumpkin down there, a little bit of everything. And 1 pack of blueberries. Yes, I roast the beets. There's also some einkorn flour, einkorn all-purpose flour. They're roasted. I roast them and then I just freeze them. And when you want roasted beets, you just thaw them out. And I have some carrots that are already shredded. Like I said, it's a little bit of everything. And I'm going to talk about in a little bit what vegetables I prefer canned, what vegetables I prefer frozen, and which ones I prefer freeze-dried, because I do have preferences for some of them.
So what's your organization method? I mean, I see you have wire bins in there.
Just the bins, so I can pick the bins out to get to the stuff below.
Okay.
And it works pretty well. Now, in the prepared one, I use bags, but these bins down here, they're perfect because most of the stuff is either in the freeze-dried, the vacuum-sealed bags, or baggies like this. And they just fit down there perfectly. And sometimes I have to pick 2 bins out to get to the bottom one. And some stuff's just laying flat.
Okay, but you're not
I can get to
digging
everything.
Individual ones.
No. Yeah, things are in bins so I can kind of see what I'm getting to. And it works pretty well. It's a pretty good system. Now, I did clean it out yesterday, and I know it needs defrosted. That's on the list. But I wanted to see how many blackberries I had, so I cleaned out and saw exactly what's in here. But cleaning these freezers out gave me a couple projects to work on. The fruit and veggie freezer was pretty organized. The meat one's not so organized. This is what we have left of beef from the last time we slaughtered. Now next time it'll be next fall. So I think we're already running out of ground beef, but we're going to run out of probably all the beef. So I'm looking forward to having a new fresh filled freezer. And I know this one needs defrosted too. But I need to go through and take an inventory and actually organize this stuff. Right now we're just rooting through it. I do know we have several briskets that need to be smoked and cooked.
What's that on the far end there?
Oh, this actually is the ginger I just did in the other video. The pickled ginger and frozen ginger and candied ginger.
Okay.
That I'm storing long term.
Nice.
And I don't smell it when I open the freezer, so I think in the glass jars is working. It's keeping everything contained. Now I'll show you the overflow freezer. It's even messier than this. I'm glad it's kind of dark back in this corner. Well, maybe you won't see quite how messy it is. Now this one's empty. It's not a lot of stuff in. I do keep my beef bones that I'm going to turn into broth, and any chicken carcasses we save to turn into broth. And I actually took 4 chicken carcasses yesterday and made that into broth. So in cleaning out the freezers, it gets me a lot of work to do.
So what's down here? Are they
Those
tomatoes?
are all tomatoes from the garden, and believe it or not, our tomatoes are still producing. It's the middle of October, we haven't had a frost. They're in the tunnel, but we are still getting tomatoes.
Okay.
And I already made this Italian sauce, so probably a lot of those are going to turn into crushed tomatoes or a barbecue sauce or something, but I'll just wait until I have them all in there and then I'll turn them into something. But this is just kind of like a hodgepodge overflow. Messy. This freezer is actually in what we call the grow room. It's part of the garage that we portioned off and built into a room for excess kitchen storage as well as seed starting, produce storage, and kind of like a mud room. And a lot of times it is muddy. So it's very handy though. And this is all the prepared foods. And this is stuff we can get to pretty quickly. I have lots of barbecue sauce. I have some lasagna we made that I cut into squares. And that's a great way to do things. Do large quantities, especially when it's just 2 of us living here. Freeze large quantities, cut them in squares. We want lasagna some night, I get 2 pieces out. This is some basil I froze, but then there's actually a little bit of meat in here that I want to use up.
So why is this one order with bags and not the screen?
It's just, these are easier for me to do bags. You pull the bag, they're only 2 bags deep. So I pull the top bag out and I can see all the soup in the bottom bag.
Okay.
And this is just handy. Every kind of soup I make, when I make soup, I make a lot. and then I freeze containers for us to
So
have
is all
when
of
we
your
want.
soup frozen?
Yes. Well, not all of it. There's
Nuh-uh.
some of it canned downstairs, but there are certain ones, I think with dairy, have to be frozen. And some I just prefer frozen, like
Like the
the
onion soup is down there.
Yes, yes, and I like that canned better. There are things I like canned, things I like frozen, and things I like freeze-dried.
Okay, well, we'll get into that.
Okay.
So these are all the blackberries you just took out of the freezer?
Well, it's half of them. I'm
Okay.
turning half in, well, probably 60%. I'm turning 60% into blackberry lime, and then I'm trying a new recipe, blackberry orange. Sounds good. But things aren't going exactly to plan right now.
Yeah, well, that's why I thought I would video you. Normally, you know, we have everything under control and everything's running just right. And now you seem a little flustered.
Yes, I had a little bit of a difficult time. I've used this thing a million times, and I guess I didn't have my groove on, wasn't thinking straight. I had it the wrong little thing in to get the seeds out. I had the tomato attachment in, and it didn't get the seeds, so I had to take it all apart with purple stuff everywhere, and then put it back together with the right thing. Well, something wasn't together right, and it started leaking all over the place. I just couldn't figure it out, and I put it together a million times. I must be tired. So I finally got it together right, and I'm getting them all put through, ready to put the sugar in and make the jam, but it's been a rough last hour or so. I'm tired. Maybe somebody wonderful could do all my purple blackberry dishes over there in the sink.
Well, I'll look around and let you know if I find somebody.
Okay, yeah, you see if you can find somebody.
So bottom line is not every day goes
No.
perfectly, and sometimes things are a little frustrating and messy.
Yeah, a lot of days things are frustrating and messy. And it's really hard. Like, it couldn't be apple, which doesn't make a mess. It had to be blackberry.
Yeah.
So I have purple. I see little spots on the floor. There were spots down here. I have blackberry everywhere. So we're gonna have to do
I think
some
I
cleaning up.
saw some on your
I
glasses.
it splattered up on my glasses at one
I
point.
guess I'm glad I was out mowing the grass when
Yes.
all this was going on.
Yeah, you might have been hearing me. Not so happy. Now at least I got it working. I see the end in sight. I just got to get it all done and canned so I can go to bed in time.
Okay. Well, I'll look around, see if I can find somebody to do your dishes.
Yeah, I bet I could find somebody.
Okay.
He's pretty handsome and he's good at dishes. Well, now you've seen the 4 ways that we preserve most of the food on the farm.
We've learned a lot in each one of them, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, we've been at this for 6 years and we do learn more every year, and we experiment and find out what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we've learned some things.
So I was just wondering, how do you decide which of the 4 methods you use on each of the produce?
Some of it depends on what I'm using it for, like strawberries. If I'm going to be just having them with grandkids for snacks, they're freeze-dried. But if I want to use them for jam later, I would freeze them. So some of it depends on what I'm using it for, and some just depends on how I like it. Like carrots. I canned carrots and they were just total mush. I didn't like that, so I wouldn't can carrots again. I'd either freeze them or just keep them in the root cellar fresh.
You know, I was thinking we're going to give some answers of things that work for us, but for all of our viewers and other families, it's going to be different
Yeah,
for
some of it's
every
personal
family.
preference, you know?
Yeah. When we look at the 4 methods, we've done a little bit of prioritization of which ones, you know, we value the most and what are the outcomes. Like, you know, length of storage is one, but also the quality of the food that is preserved. And that's, I think, the thing that we settled on as the most important, the quality of the food. Because you could factor in expense and convenience, you know, many things. If you're in an area, though, that has electricity that's inconsistent, maybe you're not going to do the freezer as much because that's a risk, isn't it?
Yeah, when you have a bunch of stuff in the freezer, if your power goes out, you kind of need to have some kind of backup to run that.
Okay. So I have a hard question for you.
Okay.
All right. So if you have 4 methods now that you use, and by the way, there are many other than 4 out there that we didn't touch on at all. You know, like smoking meats and
Dehydrating, fermenting.
pickling. Yeah. Okay. So of the 4 that we have now, if you had to eliminate one of the 4 and didn't have access anymore, which would it be and why?
It would probably be the freeze dryer. Mainly because I have more food canned and in the freezer, more quantities. That's freeze dryer I would miss so much for herbs and like all the onions and garlic. And there's a lot of things I would miss it, but I can do alternative things if I have to. Plus it costs a lot.
It just, yeah, it is expensive. Now, we used to backpack, so it would have been super convenient to have it. There's really no other alternative. You know.
Well, not unless you want to carry a bunch of food. But yeah, freeze-dried food when you're backpacking, that's what
But
you
it wouldn't
have.
last as long. Yeah. The other advantage of freeze-dried, though, is you put it in a foil pack so it can last for many, many years. Mm-hmm. So there's some security element. Okay, so the freeze dryer is gone. It's expensive, and it's a little bit of a hassle, you know, depending on
Only
whether
if
it's
it breaks.
working or not. But even not, it's just setting it up
Yes.
and doing a little bit of technology and downloading upgrades and software. It's not as easy as the other methods. Okay, freeze dryer is out. We have 3 methods. One more hard question. Of those 3,
Okay.
you have to eliminate one more of those 3. Don't worry, I'm not going to ask you to go all the way down to 1.
Good, because I'm having trouble going to 2. Oh boy. I mean, I would probably have to go with the root cellar.
You would eliminate the root cellar.
Yeah, because I need to keep all the canned stuff. That's a lot of food, and we need the freezers for all the beef. Mm-hmm. When we slaughter a cow, that's a lot of beef.
Pound for pound, do you think you have more food that is in the canned area or in your freezers?
Depends how close it is to having a bunch of beef in there.
Yeah.
Our beef is low right now, so the poundage is down. But right after we get a quarter of a steer,
yeah,
the freezers are heavy. So that varies. But I have a lot of food canned and frozen.
And it's probably the safest. If the power goes out, you still keep your canned food where you could lose. You go on vacation, you never know. You come back, you know, unless you have a battery system.
Yeah, if you have freezers, you need to have some kind of a system that if the power goes out, you're going to be okay. Now, if they're closed, they don't lose it that fast.
Yeah.
But you need to have something prepared.
So if we were going to boil it down to 1, which I'm not going to ask you to do, you know, like the freezers, you almost can't because of the meat aspect of it, but we'll end it there. Okay, so freezing, there's been a lot of discussion and questions and maybe a little controversy over when do you blanch vegetables and not, and can you get away with it? Like corn, you don't blanch corn anymore.
No, I found a person on YouTube that did it with a brine. They just cut the corn off the cob, put it in a baggie, put a brine on it, and froze it. So I did an experiment the first year. I blanched a little bit and did most of it in the brine. The brine tasted much better, and it's so much easier.
Agreed, it was much better.
So I will never blanch corn.
Yeah.
Now all the other vegetables, yes, some people say you have to, some people say you don't, and potatoes is the one I got in trouble with because I froze a bunch of potatoes just by putting oil on them.
Yeah.
And some people said they did have their potatoes darken. Mine have not. A year later, they're still as white as they were when I put them in the bag.
Fine too.
Yeah.
So I wonder if the variety of potato makes a difference, or
the
maybe
oil. I don't know.
The amount of oil.
But they say, I mean, the gold standard, if you want guaranteed no turning, you have to blanch it and then maybe even put oil on it after you blanch it. But for me, if they're staying the same color, not blanched, I'm not going to blanch.
And you've done it for years,
Yeah.
and we've never had a bad outcome.
No.
But I believe some other people
have, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
So it's best for you to test your variety of potato with a small batch just to make sure it's fine. So, okay. Well, it's been quite an adventure for us learning all this. And
Yes.
we are continuing to learn, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Every day we learn something new.
Yeah. And again, many times it comes from comments from viewers. Your years of experience, what works and what's best. So we love to hear from you. You know, how do you decide when something should be frozen or root cellar?
Yeah, and like right now I'm enjoying all the suggestions I got about sweet potatoes. I have a million recipes I'm going to have to try because of all you suggesting things. So, but we really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
And even this, if you have recommendations for preserving food that we're not doing, let us know. We're happy to try something new.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to getting into smoked meats.
He wants to smoke meats. And that would be good.
Good.
So.
Well, hey, thank you for joining on the Wardenberg Family Farm.
We'll see you in our next video.
Bye-bye.